So, welcome everyone to Bethany Arts Community's series of events associated with our fall residency program. I'm Abigail Lewis, the Executive Director of Bethany Arts Community. Tonight we are very happy to present a program, a work in progress showing and talk with Rebecca Gual as part of this residency series. Bethany brings together artists from multiple disciplines from across the country to work on works in progress and new works and to share a time here where they can connect with other artists. The residency program is made possible, you jinxed me, the residency program is made possible by the generous support of the National Endowment for the Arts, the New York State Council on the Arts, Arts Westchester, and with the generous support of folks like yourselves. Tonight, we have Rebecca Gual, as I said. She's an Afro-Latinx mover, choreographer, arts administrator, and she was born and raised in Queens, New York. She holds a Bachelor of Arts from California Institute of the Arts, and she aims to explore involuntary emotional response, earnestness, dormant stimuli, and brutal honesty within her movement language. Her works have previously been presented at the Roy and Edna Disney Cal Arts Theater, Smush Gallery, Alley City Core Theater, Queens Museum, among others. Rebecca is part of the Pepitien 8th Annual Dancing Futures. She has an Artist and Mentor Collaborative Residency in 2021, which is produced in partnership with BAD, the Bronx Academy of Arts and Dance. So with that, it is my pleasure to welcome Rebecca.
Hello, thanks for coming. Appreciate having you all here. I'm Rebecca. I dance and move, and I make dances based off of those movements. So I started the process that I came here to delve into in October of 2019 with two friends, Bo and Morgan, and we really wanted to get in the studio and try new things, try some new moves together. And then it really just delved into lots of long conversations regarding us as artists, as dancers, and just the rampant amount of exploitation we were experiencing within our field, going from project, to work, to gig, to job, to make it all happen. So most of those themes were barreling towards labor and expectation and, a letting go of a past self. And come March 2020, we had to kind of all let that go. So we've come back to that process as of this summer, and we'll be premiering a full-length work in May of 2022 at BAD, the Bronx Academy of Arts and Dance. And yeah, I spent this week here going through an honest space, right? Of where I'm at and meeting myself where I'm at and figuring that out. So this year in particular, I dealt a lot within death and then of course grief. Holding a lot of space for emotions and tiredness, so much tiredness, and those ebbs and flows are sharp changes. So what I'll present tonight is just a moving meditation based off of that experience. And I welcome you guys to, move around if you want to, find the floor, stand up, walk around if you want to. But yeah, just hold space in your mind for loss of self, or loss of a loved one, or loss of an opportunity, or whatever that is for you and whatever's present for you and whatever's real. So yeah, hold that in your mind and put out into the space. I think that's going to be helpful for me. Yeah, so without further ado.
Onde eu nasci passa um rio que passa num igual sem fim, igual sem fim. Minha terra passava dentro de mim, passava como se o tempo nada pudesse mudar, passava como se o rio não desaguasse no mar. O rio deságua no mar, já tanta coisa aprendi, mas o que é mais meu cantar, é isso que eu canto aqui. Hoje eu sei que o mundo é grande e o mar de ondas se faz, mas nasceu junto com o rio o canto que eu canto mais. O rio só chega no mar depois de andar pelo chão. O rio da minha terra deságua em meu coração.
Should I? Yes. We can circle up if that feels better too. I can move over there. Yeah, those are good. It's a little hot. Right, yeah, I'll move closer so it's not so formal. So, any questions about what you saw? Just so you can name what you saw.
Oh, I'm supposed to name it, no questions. And you have to respond. Oh, you want me to use that?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah. You do? Okay. All right. Is this better, or does this go right into the thing?
There you go.
Oh, this goes to the people out there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There we go. All right, so the first three parts for me, he's thinking about grief,
Yeah.
the process of bereavement. And it's one, your hands seem like characters the whole way through. Again, you don't have to respond. But in the first one, it's an intentional, like, kind of, they are so close. Everything is so locked. And it strongly reminds me of the apostolic type of dealing with grief, because everything is tight. Second one is the first time you worked on the floor. Now, a lot of people may not be into that type of thing, but in a lot of apostolic places, people do fall on the floor.
Uh-huh.
But in the third one, it's like the arms for the first time was like totally away from each other. You actually was like getting it with spinning and stuff.
Right.
But thinking in the framework of grief though, and in the first three parts, it seemed like it was going through a process. Don't know, you don't have to say anything. However, it was making sense
Cool.
to me of looking at the body and those hands. It was working in my hands. All right, that's all. It's not a question.
Yeah, it's a response, and that's perfect.
Anybody
Thank
with
you.
the mic?
I have kind of a question, just that kind of follows on that. I'm just really, I don't know much about dance, and I'm curious about, how do you think about the hands as a character, as an element of dance? I mean, is there some, or just how did you think about them in this piece, these pieces?
Mostly it came from that like place of exhaustion. Usually when it comes to creating the language, the score, the movement, it takes a lot of trial and error and figuring out. So that usually comes first in my legs. So then it was like, okay, what can I gesture with that'll communicate exactly what I want my full body to communicate, and I don't have the energy to do right now. So that distilled into my hands and all of those like motifs and lots of repetition too, just to communicate what E.B. described as characters or, naming as motifs or something like that. It's really the same.
I was really captivated by that as well, so I just wanted to hear a little more about it.
For sure.
I mean, there's even a part where, and then it just goes through the whole thing.
Anyone want the mic?
Can you just talk about your process a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Do you mean in the bigger sense or just for this?
In the bigger sense, but just as this piece is what I know
Uh-huh.
of you, but this was a lot. It was quite long for one continuous piece.
Right.
And there was a lot of you can maybe vignettes, or do you conceive it as one entity, or are these individual little moments that are connected?
Yeah, vignettes I think is a great way to put it, to contextualize it. But really, it's like a, thought process, stream of consciousness, even like just continual durational practice. And I find it's a way to challenge myself to get out of what muscle memory like immediately springs up. Just that's based on your training, based on what you like to do, your comfort zone, even whatever you want to call it. But like your body does go back to that sense memory over and over again. So it's fun for me to trip on that and ask myself why. Okay, let's run with that and see what springs from there. So that's really how it starts. And then I write a lot. So same stream of consciousness of words comes out in my body. But then it becomes an exercise of like repeating those words that jump up from the page. That becomes the thesis statement, and then again going back to the stream of consciousness in the body to keep doing that over and over and over again. So it's a lot of repetition and exploration.
So Rebecca, this was wonderful, and besides using your hands, I noticed you also are very expressive. You have some, wonderful looks in your face and your eyes, which at certain points are quite wide open, which is wonderful. But in addition to that, you said to me the other night that you're beginning to play with cameras on the body. And, what I then think about is those images coming from the cameras as being another character, like the hands are another character. But can you tell us a little bit, I know that wasn't what you did tonight, but can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so that's a new idea that's springing up that's really just an answer to how can I invite someone into the space who physically can't be there, right? As we're exploring hybrid methods of sharing work for people who can't physically show up, or maybe a space isn't ADA accessible or something like that, what that would look like. So in particular, the venue that I'm working with has a stage and then 2 outdoor stages. And there's 3 of us in the work, so it makes sense for us to split that space, come together at points, spread again, come together at the end as like a coda, but create those vignettes, as Michael put it, with those cameras on our bodies. So in theory, it sounds cool. It could be like completely chaotic or like boring even to watch space. And those outdoor stages, I should mention, are in a cemetery, and like none of the graves date more than like past 1900. So like it's really going to be a nice juxtaposition between moving bodies and like stillness and rest.
So if I understand, one person will be on the stage inside, one will be on one stage outside, the other on the other, but somehow
and traveling
the
between
lights,
those stages as well.
Well, but the cameras on your bodies will display as if you're also on those other stages, or no?
No, it'll be physically on the body as if like a mic,
right?
Like this, and really just taking in the noises the dancer's making, their perspective, quite literally.
I see.
Or depending on where the camera's placed, could be on an ankle, and that could be a fun perspective as well towards like what you see and what you take in, and if that makes contact with the body, what happens there. So still ideas that are germinating in.
Well, Rebecca, thank you very much.
Thank you.